For the next 53 seconds, we'll take an in-depth look inside Diddy parties.
Can't tell that one either.
Usher, how you been, man? I've been seeing you so long.
How much did we drink?
It's hard to say which is more off the hook, a Diddy party or a Diddy after party, or a Diddy after party.
And they don't want me to throw the parties no more, but we ain't gonna stop. We gonna keep on having fun, bringing people together from all walks of life.
My baby bro, we here. Tomorrow it's time. It's time. What you gonna do to that thing, man?
When I got my star on Hollywood, I had a party. And this year at Burning Man, at an undisclosed location.
No, you can embrace it.
Yeah, it comes now, baby.
P. Diddy, thank you for coming by. Come see us anytime.
Puff Daddy's recent arrest on racketeering charges and more things I can't say has sent shockwaves through Hollywood, turning the spotlight on his infamous past parties. And when you think about attendees like Ashton Kutcher, Leonardo DiCaprio, Usher, and so many more, we've got stuff to talk about. There is an old video of celebrities raving about these parties that has resurfaced on the internet. It features the likes of Fat Joe, Nicole Richie, and other folks who are regular guests at these exclusive soirees. In the clip, a young Derek Jeter recounts Puff Daddy hosting a party on a jet that flew around the world for days. The former professional baseball player said,
"Now it started on a Tuesday and somehow ended on the previous Sunday. I don't know how he did that."
Elsewhere in the video, Fat Joe spun a wild narrative about how the parties seem to blend into one another, with no clear beginning or end. He said it's hard to say which is more off the hook. A Puffy party, a Puffy after party, or a Puffy after party, which is basically a pre-party for the next party. Nicole Richie also joked in the video about the famous parties.
Now that I'm engaged, I've decided to slow down a little. 3 Diddy parties a week, maybe 4. Well, not including the weekends.
Like, girl, spill more. Ashton Kutcher was somebody who went to a lot of these parties. His friendship with Puff Daddy is an old one. In the mid-2000s, the pair were so close that they took to bragging about themselves. They're like, yeah, us, Jamie Foxx, we're the new Rat Pack. You know, Rat Pack. You get it. In a 2019 Hot Ones interview, Ashton Kutcher told host Sean Evans that, yeah, there's a lot that I can't say about this friendship. He was like, yeah, no, can't tell that story. Going through the Rolodex, can't tell that one either. And apparently the stories are so wild that Ashton Kutcher thinks he's expecting a subpoena about Puff Daddy's wrongdoing. And yes, we do have to say that Puff has argued his innocence by pleading not guilty, but apparently Ashton Kutcher is worried about potential betrayal. Now, he hasn't made any public comments that we know of, but rumors indicate he's privately wrestling with concerns about what Puff Daddy might reveal to save his own skin. A close source told Daily Mail that Puff Daddy could say anything, do anything, or turn on anyone to stay out of jail, especially folks who attended a lot of his parties. Ashton Kutcher absolutely, allegedly, regrets his friendship with Puff Daddy considering what has happened. He feels lied to, betrayed, taken for granted, and manipulated. Look, these guys have been constantly patting each other on the back for the last 20 years. Ashton made many an appearance at the white parties. You've seen the photos, you've seen the videos, they've all hit the internet. Looks like he was having a good time, channeling his inner Tarzan. Usher, once mentored by Puff Daddy himself, was often photographed at these wild parties, and he said it himself, wild things happened while hanging out with the rapper. When Usher was just getting his foot into the music industry's door, Usher spent a year living with Puff Daddy, and he opened up about this experience in a 2016 interview with Howard Stern. And sure, he made it sound like a blast, but he kinda hinted at something a little more disturbing beneath the surface. He said that he didn't understand what he was even looking at. Very curious things were taking place. How very Wonderland of him. Perhaps most telling, Usher made it clear none of his family, nope, never, would ever be attending Puffy Camp. But yet, he shipped off Justin Bieber to Puff Daddy's for like 48 hours when Justin was under his guidance. So like, come on folks, what's going on?
Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes, you know what I'm saying?
So one time, there was chatter that Leonardo DiCaprio had maybe stepped back from Puff Daddy because, well, he was at those parties. He was at the white parties. We saw the photos. Now, a friend of Leonardo DiCaprio's has been telling everybody who's gonna listen that, look, he hasn't been hanging out with the Bad Boy Records boss for a lengthy period of time.
Who's the person that's #1 on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
But like, back when Leonardo showed up at the white party in East Hampton, Puff Daddy was like, yeah, you're the #1 person I want at this bash. But sources are like, no. Leonardo had no connection with Puff Daddy after a party in '98. Which, like, I'm sorry, you did. But like, hey, say what you want, pal. All will be revealed In the midst of everything going on this year, a resurfaced photo from the 4th of July party in the year 2000 has reignited some buzz. So there's a photo of Puff Daddy in a bed with J-Lo, Aaliyah, Andre Harrell, Damon Dash, and everybody was in white except for Puff Daddy, J-Lo, and one other person, which kind of adds to the intrigue of the moment. There's another photo where you see only J-Lo and Puff Daddy, once again cuddled up on this oversized bed with white photos that I wouldn't want to run a black light over. And a lot of folks online are calling the Hollywood industries very cruel after seeing the group photo. They're saying poor Aaliyah dealing with Puff Daddy, dealing with other awful names I can't say. She was so vulnerable and unprotected. Like, OMG, that poor girl was in all the wrong spaces. That industry was so cruel in the way they treated her. Look, these photos could capture, intimate, joyful moments, or maybe that's just what they want to convey. I think the cheerful scene now stands in stark contrast to the grave allegations that are going on, and if anything, that casts a bit of a shadow over those once glamorous memories, if you will. A lot of fans on social media have reignited discussions around the resurfaced photos, and a lot of folks are like, hey, why isn't J-Lo speaking up? Maybe she was left traumatized during her time with the rapper, seeing as they were in a bit of a tumultuous relationship from 1999 to, early 2000s. And a lot of folks are like, okay, let's give her some slack. She is going through a crazy divorce with Ben Affleck right now. But still, what happened during that 2-year relationship? Khloe Kardashian seemingly shared details about attending a party back in August of 2014 on an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Kourtney asked her, so, who was with you this weekend? And Khloe said, a bunch of my friends, and she named Puff Daddy by name, and also French Montana. And she continued to describe the party later in the episode, saying that she thought half the people there were in the nude. I don't want footage from that party, I don't want to see that party, but I would like to know how that happened. Paris Hilton is another powerful person who seemed to give Puff Daddy her stamp of approval by attending his lavish parties over the years. She's been snapped at various soirees with him. In one particular photo, the duo seemed friendly. They were wearing their white ensembles, and look, we all know who Paris is. She was the #1 socialite in the early 2000s, so her attending a party kind of gives it her stamp of approval. But as a survivor of wrongful harm and an advocate for people in those situations, I find it weird that Paris has been kind of silent about this situation. She used to post all the time about having an epic time hanging out at these parties, so girl, it's time to speak up. Howard Stern has shed light on his experience of visiting these infamous parties, and while he didn't feel anything nefarious was taking place during his alleged only one visit, he did say that he felt bad and icky during the whole time, claiming he wasn't even allowed to use the bathroom. So he went to a white party, and apparently the radio host claimed he was treated like an a-hole. Not only was he left with the schlubs in the backyard, but he was like, oh, I couldn't find Puff Daddy anywhere during the brief time I was at the party. He joked that, hey, maybe he was at the cool party inside the house, but he had no way of telling because he was forbidden from entering the premises, and he left the party early. Well, pardon me, dude, I found a photo of the two of you at a white party, so unless you attended multiple parties, and in that case, be more specific, you guys did at least say hello during the party, so what else are you lying about? Come on, fess up. Kendra Wilkinson of Girl Next Door fame went to 1 or 2 parties back in the day, saying she had a great time, she didn't really see anything, she never really saw anything bad happening, and she went on to say that intercourse is intercourse, she's not saying something bad didn't happen, but nothing bad ever happened to her. Damon Dash addressed a resurfaced photo of him attending one of these parties, saying he didn't go to those parties. He went to one in the Hamptons about 20 years ago with Aaliyah, and that's about it. So I'm guessing it's the one from the photos from earlier. But he said, a lot of people were at those. You know what I mean? The mogul said, ain't seen anything happen in the Hamptons. That's the day I met Aaliyah. We hung out there, then we left. That's what happened. That was 20 years ago. All right. Well, that's all for today, folks. See you next time.
I'm a savage!